Now, the reality is, theory only gets you so far. At some point, the question stops being, could this work? And starts being, what actually happened when they tried it? Healthcare education is the furthest along of any sector, and the reasons aren't complicated. The stakes are too high to learn from only live patients, and the traditional alternatives, cadaver labs, mannequins, standardized patients, are expensive, limited, and imperfect. Surgical training programs using VR simulation have demonstrated measurable improvements in procedure accuracy and reduction in OR errors among residents. The research coming out of institutions like UCLA and the Cleveland Clinic shows that surgeons who train in spatial simulations perform significantly better in first real-world procedures than those who train using traditional methods alone. Anatomy education at the undergraduate and medical school level has seen some of the most consistent positive results. 3D spatial anatomy models where students can dissect, isolate, and rotate structures in real space produce better spatial understanding of anatomical relationships than 2D diagrams alone. And they do it faster. The retention data is particularly interesting. Studies show that spatially encoded anatomy learning produces superior recall at 3 and 6 month intervals compared to traditional methods. The experiential anchor isn't just more engaging, it produces more durable knowledge. Enterprise training is a sector where return on investment has been the easiest to quantify, where adoption has been the fastest as a result. Boeing, the Boeing jet, has used AR-guided assembly processes to reduce aircraft wiring harness build time and error rates. Workers following holographic overlays showing which wire connects to which point complete tasks faster with fewer mistakes than workers who follow traditional print documentation. And the effect is most pronounced for newer workers, which means onboarding becomes dramatically faster. Walmart's VR training program, one of the largest corporate deployments of its kind, ran more than 1 million employees through a VR-based training for active shooter scenarios and high-traffic holiday floor management. Their data showed significant improvements in knowledge retention and emotional readiness compared to video-based training. The consistency across industries is notable. Whether it's aviation, manufacturing, logistics, or retail, when you replace passive instruction with spatial simulation, you tend to see faster skill acquisition, better retention, and higher confidence in first-time application. And the economic benefits are pretty straightforward. The cost of building and deploying a spatial training infrastructure, once you spread it across a relatively large workforce, competes very favorably with the cost of traditional training, especially when you account for the reduced error rates and shortened time to competency. Now, K-12 and higher education deployments are more uneven, which is not surprising given the range of institutional resources, right? A high school biology program in Arizona replaced a traditional genetics unit with a spatial simulation where students could manipulate gene sequence and observe phenotypic outcomes in real time. Pass rates on the unit assessment improved by 34%. Engagement metrics, attendance, and assignment completion all went up significantly. A university architecture program integrated spatial review into design critiques, students presenting their buildings in mixed reality rather than flat renderings. The quality of peer critiques improved measurably because reviewers could actually inhabit the space rather than just inferring it from drawings. It's important not to see spatial technology as just a novelty, a one-off experience, but treating it as an integrated pedagogical tool. These case studies converge onto something important. Spatial computing works best when it's solving a real problem that previous tools solved poorly. It's not magic, but it's a better fit for certain categories of learning and training that other tools just weren't well suited for. Understanding that fit, knowing when to use spatial tools and when not to, is a strategic skill. In the final video of this section, we'll pull back the widest possible lens. Where is this all going? What does the next 5 years actually look like for spatial computing? And what does it mean to position yourself in this moment rather than waiting? If you want to dive deeper into what we just covered, this video is brought to you by the first edition of Spatial Computing. We wrote this book to break down this complex emerging field clearly to help you stay ahead of the curve on this new frontier of life-changing technology. Bring your work, your passions, and your business into the future. This book serves as the perfect reference guide to help explain these concepts to your own clients, colleagues, or students. Your book also comes with an executive curriculum that you can use to train your personal or enterprise AI model, creating a massive and evidence-based advantage for your spatial workflow. Both physical and digital copies are available right now at spatialapex.co.